here's something a tech channel probably shouldn't admit. Sometimes the smartest thing I can tell you is don't buy the new one. The Watch 9 is a good watch, but I genuinely think most of you should grab the older one instead. Let me show you exactly why and who the exception is. We'll go through this honestly, no marketing talk, and by the end, you'll know precisely which camp you fall into. Step 1. Figure out which buyer you actually are. Before we touch a single spec, let's do something almost no comparison video bothers with. Because the answer to should you buy the Watch 9 isn't the same for everyone, it depends entirely on where you're starting from. So let me split you into 3 groups right now, and you'll know your answer before this video even ends. Real quick though, if this kind of honest, no hype breakdown is what you're here for, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel and means a lot. Quick gut check before we dive in. Think honestly about how you actually used your last watch. Most people use maybe a third of what these things can do, and that alone should shape how much you're willing to spend on the newest model. Alright, Group 1, you already own a Watch 8. Group 2, you're on a much older watch, a Watch 5, a Watch 6, or another brand entirely. Group 3, you've never owned a smartwatch at all, and this is your first. Hold on to your group, because everything we cover next lands differently depending on which one you're in. And I'll be honest with you up front. For one of these 3 groups, the answer is a flat don't bother, and I'll tell you which. And let me say something about that first group, the Watch 8 owners, because you're the ones most likely to feel pressure to upgrade. Every year, the ads make you feel like last year's watch is suddenly outdated, when the one on your wrist is doing everything just fine. Hold that thought, because by the end, you might feel a lot better about the watch you already own. I want you walking away from this video feeling smart about your money, not pressured into spending it, and those are 2 very different goals a lot of tech channels blur together. There's also a psychological trap worth naming here. When a new number comes out, the old one instantly feels older than it actually is, even though nothing about it physically changed. Your Watch 8 didn't get worse the day the Watch 9 launched. It's the exact same watch it was the day before. Here's why this matters so much with these 2 watches specifically. Normally, when a new model drops, there's enough new stuff that upgrading makes sense for almost everybody. That's not the case here, and that's exactly what makes this comparison interesting instead of obvious. Because Samsung changed one thing that genuinely matters, left almost everything else untouched, and then asked you for more money. The trick is knowing whether that one change is worth it for your group or not. And stick around to the very end, because there's a detail about the older Watch 8 that flips this whole decision on its head, something that quietly makes it the smarter buy for way more people than you'd expect. Most reviews skip it entirely. We're building up to it. So keep your group in mind, and let's start with the one thing Samsung actually did change, because everything hinges on whether it's worth it to you. Step 2, the one thing Samsung actually changed. Let's get straight to it, because there's really only one change that carries any weight here, and it's the brain of the watch. The Galaxy Watch 9 runs a brand new processor, the Snapdragon Wear Elite from Qualcomm. The Watch 8 used Samsung's own Exynos W1000, the same chip that was already in the Watch 7 before it. So this is Samsung switching chip suppliers for the first time in years, and that's a bigger deal under the hood than it sounds. Here's what it means for you in plain terms. Day to day, tapping through menus, opening apps, checking your heart rate, you will barely feel a difference. The Watch 8 was already quick, and a new chip doesn't magically make a watch twice as fast overnight. So if someone tells you the Watch 9 is noticeably snappier in normal use, that's mostly in their head. The real value of this chip isn't about today at all, it's about 3 years from now. This processor is more efficient and it's built for the AI features coming down the line, like the Gemini Assistant, which lean harder on a modern chip every year. Think of it like buying a computer with more headroom than you need right now. You don't feel it on day one, you feel it when everything gets heavier later. Let me put the chip in perspective one more way, because it's the crux of this whole video. Imagine you bought a phone 5 years ago that was already a little underpowered on day one. It aged fast and felt slow within 2 years. Now imagine one that launched with room to spare. It still runs smoothly today. That's the exact bet you're making with the Watch 9's processor. You're paying a little now for smoothness later, and whether that bet pays off depends entirely on how long you keep it. A watch you plan to wear for 4 years benefits from that headroom. A watch you'll replace in a year or two, honestly, doesn't. And that single distinction is going to decide almost everything about your buying choice. And if you're the type who genuinely keeps a watch until it dies, that headroom is worth real money to you, so don't dismiss it just because you can't see it on day one. There's a smaller bonus tucked in here too. The newer chip brings a more modern Bluetooth version, which can mean a steadier connection to your earbuds when you leave the phone at home. It's minor, but if you run phone-free with headphones, it's the kind of thing you'll quietly appreciate. Let me give you a real-world way to picture the efficiency angle too. Two identical watches, same battery, but one has a chip that sips power instead of gulping it, and over a full day, that difference quietly adds up. That's the theory behind the new processor, and it's a sound one, even if the day one experience feels the same. There's also the update angle, which people rarely factor in when they buy. A more modern chip typically means a watch keeps getting new features smoothly for longer before it starts to feel sluggish. So the Watch 9's real pitch isn't speed today, it's staying fluent tomorrow, and that only matters if you're a long-haul keeper. That's genuinely the whole list of meaningful changes on the inside, one chip. And no, before anyone asks, the new chip does not unlock any exclusive feature. It's the same software experience on both, just running on newer silicon underneath. Everything else people point to is either tiny or completely unchanged, and I'm about to prove that to you piece by piece. Because the next part is where this comparison usually falls apart, the stuff that stayed exactly the same, and it's a longer list than Samsung would like you to notice. Step 3, everything that didn't move an inch. Now here's the part that decides this whole thing, and it's the part marketing quietly hopes you skip. Because what stayed identical between the Watch 8 and Watch 9 is a far longer list than what changed. Start with the design, because there's basically nothing to talk about. Same case, same squircle shape, same two sizes at 40 and 44 millimeters, same materials. Line them up without the labels, and you genuinely could not tell which is which. Then the screen. And this one surprises people. It's the exact same Super AMOLED display, same size, same resolution, same brightness. No sharper panel, no bigger screen, no upgrade whatsoever. They are the identical piece of glass. Now the sensors, and this is the one that matters most to most of you. Both watches use the same BioActive sensor, the one Samsung already upgraded back on the Watch 8. That means identical heart rate accuracy, identical ECG, identical body composition readings measured by the same hardware, and here's the part that ends the debate. Every modern health feature people credit to the Watch 9, the Antioxidant Index, the running coach, the vascular load, the AGE's index, the Watch 8 already did all of it. The Watch 9 runs the exact same features on the exact same sensor with the exact same accuracy. There is not one single health feature locked to the Watch 9, and that's the quiet truth of this whole comparison. Same goes for memory and storage, 2 GB of RAM and 32 gigs on both. Same dual frequency GPS, same water resistance, same fall detection, same emergency features, same payment system. Even the bands are interchangeable because the connector didn't change, so your old Watch 8 straps fit the Watch 9 perfectly, which quietly saves you money if you'd built up a collection. Let me add a couple more identical points people always assume must have changed, because they usually haven't. The charging speed is essentially the same on both, so the Watch 9 is no charging miracle, you're topping up in roughly the same time either way. The haptics, the rotating bezel interaction, the speaker and mic for calls, all the same. Even the durability ratings match, so both handle a swim, a shower, or a rainy run without a second thought. I keep hammering this point because it's the whole ballgame, and most videos gloss right over it to keep the upgrade story exciting. Do you see the picture forming here? Strip it all down, and the only things separating these two watches are a chip you won't feel today and a battery difference we still need to talk about. Honestly, once you know all this, the marketing around the new model starts to feel a little thin, and that's not me being cynical, that's just the spec sheet talking. And there's one more thing that softens even the software gap. The Watch 8 is very likely getting the new One UI 9 watch update anyway, so even that edge is temporary, not permanent. And think about what that actually means for your daily life with the watch. The thing you look at, the screen, is identical. The thing that reads your body, the sensor, is identical. The thing that tells you how you slept, how you trained, how your heart's doing, identical. Every single touch point you'll interact with 100 times a day is the same on both watches, and that's not a small footnote. That's the entire experience. Which brings us to the money, because once you know how little actually changed, the price is where this decision really gets made. Step 4, the money math that changes everything. Alright, now a tech question becomes a wallet question, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting. The Watch 9 launched at around $380 for the Bluetooth version. The Watch 8 launched at $349, so on paper it's only about $30 between them. But that surface number is a trap, and here's why. The Watch 8 is now last year's model, which means it's been steadily dropping in price at retailers everywhere. So in the real world, you're not comparing a $30 gap, you're comparing full price new against a discounted older model, and that gap can be a lot wider. And for that extra money, as we just proved, you get the same watch with one chip you won't feel and a slightly bigger battery in one size. Let me put that in terms that actually land. That price difference isn't an upgrade fee, it's often enough to cover a nice spare band, a screen protector, and a charging stand with change left over. Or it's simply money that stays in your pocket for something you'll actually notice. There's also a resale angle worth a quick mention. Because the Watch 8 already took its big depreciation hit, if you ever sell it on, you'll lose less from what you paid than someone who bought the Watch 9 at full price. So the older watch isn't just cheaper to buy, it can be cheaper to own over its whole life. That's the kind of quiet math that separates a smart buyer from an impulse buyer. This is the calculation nobody in the store is going to run for you, because the store makes more selling you the newer number. Run that simple math against how many years you'll actually keep the watch, and the picture usually gets very clear very fast. And that reflex, always grab the latest model, is especially strong with smartwatches, where the yearly jumps have gotten smaller and smaller. Here's another angle on the money that people forget entirely. Any piece of electronics takes its steepest drop in value in the first stretch after launch, and the Watch 8 has already taken that hit. Buy the discounted Watch 8 and you're not paying for the most expensive moment in a device's life, someone else already absorbed that. Buy the Watch 9 today and you're paying full launch price, which itself will almost certainly fall in a few months. So if you're not in a rush, patience is genuinely one of the cheapest strategies there is. The Watch 9 will come to you on price eventually. Here's the honest flip side though, because it's not all one direction. If you're buying brand new, that discounted versus full price math tightens up, and the Watch 9 starts making real sense. You'd be paying a small premium for the most current tech, the most future-proof chip, and the longest runway of software updates. Starting fresh on the current model just feels good, and it'll comfortably last you the next several years without a second thought. But if the choice is a reduced Watch 8 versus a full-price Watch 9 for essentially the same daily experience, the value tilts hard toward the older one. So the smart move depends entirely on whether you're paying discount or paying full, and that's the last piece before I give you the straight recommendation. Step 5, your move, the honest final call. Here we are at the deciding part, and now you can make this call for yourself with everything on the table. Remember those 3 groups from the start? This is where they pay off, because your answer depends entirely on which one you're in. Group 1. If you already own a Watch 8, my recommendation is dead simple. Stay put and keep your money. You'd be paying for a chip whose benefit you won't feel today, on a watch that is otherwise identical to the one already on your wrist. And since your Watch 8 is very likely getting that same new software update, even that reason evaporates. Group 2, if you're on a much older watch or another brand, the Watch 9 makes real sense. You're jumping enough generations that you'll feel every improvement at once. Group 3, first-time buyer. This is where it gets interesting, and it's the twist I promised you at the start. Here's the thing most reviews never say. For a first watch, the discounted Watch 8 is arguably the single smartest buy in Samsung's whole lineup right now. You get every health feature, the same screen, the same sensors, the same experience the Watch 9 offers at last year's reduced price, and it's still getting the new software. Unless you specifically want the longest possible update runway, the Watch 8 gives a first-timer more watch per dollar than anything else on the shelf. That's the detail I was building to, and it flips the whole assumption that new automatically means better. So take the win here, whichever group you're in, because there's genuinely no wrong answer once you know the trade-offs. Now, a few honest open points, because I'd rather name them than fake them. Exactly how much real battery life that new chip squeezes out only shows after weeks of actual use. Samsung hasn't officially dated when the Watch 8 gets the new software, and street prices, especially on the discounted Watch 8, shift constantly, so compare right before you buy. I'll circle back when there are solid numbers instead of launch day promises. Because we don't guess here. Tell me in the comments which of the three groups you're in and which way you're leaning. Your situation genuinely helps others decide. I read every single one. Whatever you decide, the fact that you're watching a comparison instead of just grabbing the shiniest box already puts you ahead of most buyers, so give yourself credit for that. Let me leave you with a bigger thought that goes past this one watch. The tech world trains us to want the newest thing every year, even as the jumps between models keep shrinking. With smartwatches especially, a yearly upgrade almost never makes sense. The real leap usually takes 2 or 3 generations. Internalize that and you save a small fortune over the years while missing almost nothing. And one more genuinely honest thought before we wrap, because it goes beyond just these 2 watches. I'd rather you trust me when I tell you the older model is fine, so that you also trust me the day I tell you something's actually worth your money. That trust only works if I'm straight with you both times. A channel that calls everything a must-buy is a channel you eventually stop believing, and I'd rather be the one you check before you spend. To sum it up, the Watch 9 is a good watch and a tiny update. The Watch 8 is a quietly brilliant deal, and for most of you, the older one is the smarter call. Talking you into the newest model is easy. Telling you honestly that the older one is enough is the hard part. But that's exactly what you're here for, and that's exactly why I make these videos. That was the honest comparison between the Galaxy Watch 9 and the Watch 8. One real change? The new chip, a slightly bigger battery that only matters in the smaller size, and a whole long list of things that stayed exactly the same. If you own a Watch 8, keep it. If you're jumping from something old, get the Watch 9. And if it's your first, that discounted Watch 8 might just be the smartest buy on the shelf. So which group are you in and what are you gonna do? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Links to both are down in the description, like always. If this helped you out, leave a like and subscribe to Premium Tech so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.